Hello everybody and welcome to the solo playthrough for the new board game Buru, which is currently on Kickstarter and is being published by Crafty Games. The game can also be experienced and played on Tabletop Simulator, which is what I'll be using today to demonstrate the game to you. I'm going to start off with a very high level overview of the game for those that may be unfamiliar with it, and then I'm going to drill down to some of the specific solo aspects of it before playing through this game. The main focus today will be on the mechanics so that you can understand the flow of the game as opposed to specific strategy around it. Buru is set in 14th century Indonesia and we are a noble in the Majapahit Empire. The king has ordered us to expand the region and we will be sailing to the island of Buru, where we've just landed, within the hope that we can win over the local residents and ultimately the king himself. Going around the board, there are 4 major regions in which this game takes place. In the forest at the top of the board here is where we will gather particular resources to help us along the way. On the shore, this is where we will be recruiting islanders into our crew. In the village is where the islanders that we have recruited on the shore will be tasked to various duties, and in the sacred lake is where we will be paying our respects by offering tributes to the 3 spirits of the island in order to gather esteem, which is the victory point condition in this game. Over here in the top left of the table we have the Lawan deck, which is the solo AI deck. Lawan literally in Indonesian language I believe means enemy and is an appropriate name for the AI and AI deck. I'm going to grab these solo bags to place over here, one by each of 2 players, which I will be playing against in this game. We'll show you how those work later on. We'll be playing with 2 AI players, Lawan A and Lawan B, white and red respectively, and I'm going to grab the first player emissary token because in the solo game we always start with this token, or the solo player always does. The Lawan never starts with the emissary token, however that can subsequently be claimed later in the game. Just going to remove some of these tokens here from the track and then we will get underway in a moment. So I'll just show you one of the cards here. I'll just increase the size a little bit and I'll just show you one of these cards here so that you can see how the AI deck runs. On the left hand side, this indicates in the morning phase where Lawan A and Lawan B will be placing their explorers and bidding on particular regions there in the morning, and on the right hand side it shows you the preferences that the Lawan will have when it comes to selecting islanders or selecting the spirit to pay tribute to if it is able to do so. We'll come back to that later. I'll put this down for now and we will get underway with the first round. So on the start player, the Lawan A will grab 3 fish to start with, as will Lawan B. As per standard rules, I'm going to pop these back into the deck and give them a bit of a shuffle and then place them out proper. There's 1 card in the forest for each player, and so that's 3. Okay, so looking here at the resources that are available in the forest, I'm hoping to get an ebony this round, so I think I will be placing a reasonably generous bid when it comes to that. So I will flip my explorers over. They can remain face up in this game. I'm going to need some fish because I start with no fish, so I might start by placing a bid of 4 into the forest. We move on to Lawan. Lawan A, or white. The 5 tokens here are put into the bag and shuffled. And sorry, I'll pop that back over here. We now flip one of the Lawan cards, and that shows us that Lawan A will place an explorer at random face down into the forest. And coming along here to Lawan B, pop those into the bag, give that a shuffle, and place one of those onto the shore. Going to probably need a islander, to grab some islanders, so I might place a bid of 2 here and see what happens. We'll flip the next AI card, which will tell us where the next explorer will be placed. So Lawan A will place into the sacred lake, and Lawan B will place into the forest. Back to me again. Thinking here that there may have been some cheap points on offer at the lake, but I don't believe I'm going to be getting there. I could place it down there to try to at least reclaim the emissary token, or to have a look at the elder cards for end game goals. Might do that. Okay. Flip the next card, and Lawan A will place another explorer into the sacred lake, and Lawan B will place a second explorer into the shore, onto the shore. I've forgotten at this point to draw the decree token, so I'll do that now. Out of Gunung. Don't believe that's going to happen in this first round, but that's okay. And the shore will gain 1 victory point. Back to me now. Not going to be winning, or not going to be triumphant on the shore or the sacred lake, I don't believe. So at this stage, really, I'm just going to be looking to potentially task one of my islanders if I can recruit someone from over here, and I'll place into there and hedge all of my bets. The last card is to come out here, and Lawan A is going to go to the sacred lake. Now, under the rules for the solo game, a Lawan will never place a 3rd explorer, so this explorer is just not put onto the board, so lucky for me. And Lawan B will place 1 into the village. The morning phase is now complete, and we will then move to noon and go fishing. I have 5 fish. We now take the remaining token out from the bag for Lawan A and flip that and add 2 fish. And then Lawan B is also claiming 2 fish. We now move to resolve each of the regions one by one, flipping the forest tokens first, and I got lucky. I get first choice here, and looking at that, I'm going to be claiming this here for an ebony and a clay. Right, so Lawan A is next to act. The Lawan will always choose the option that has the highest power. So this card here has a power of 3, this card has a power of 2, so Lawan A will be choosing this to grab 1 ebony and 1 palm. There's only one choice left for Lawan B, and so 2 clay will be claimed by Lawan B, and I also forgot that I claimed the spirit totem for Gunung by being triumphant in this region. Although that said, it's probably not going to make much of a difference because I cannot see anybody making a tribute to Gunung in this round. We move on to the shore, where I don't believe I have any chance of winning, and sure enough, Lawan B will claim the first spot, as well as the spirit totem for Banyu. Some special rules apply here because Lawan B has placed 2 explorers into the region, and at this stage I've forgotten to do something which I will undo by flipping a card for Lawan A and a card for Lawan B, which represents the plot or intentions of each of the Lawan in the afternoon phase. So I'll flip that over here. So what this tells me is that, as I said, a special rule takes place where 2 explorers have been placed by a particular Lawan, because you cannot place a third, but 2 have been placed on the shore, which always means that any islanders that are recruited on the shore are at the cost of 1 less fish than usual. At the top of the plot card we have these symbols here, and the symbols represent the particular islanders that the Lawan will have a preference to recruit in this round. The preference for this particular round for Lawan B are for nobles ahead of artisans, ahead of gatherers, ahead of priests. So what we're going to do is we're going to claim the spot with the highest power, which is the spot here, which gives Lawan B the option to cycle the market and claim up to 2 cards. So we're going to look first at the preference, which is for a noble, and we see that there is a noble here, and so therefore, because Lawan B can afford this noble will be claimed or recruited, and the cost of 3 fish will be paid. Card comes out, and there are now no nobles left on this market, so the cycle cards will be used by Lawan B, and we will do this. And once again, there are no nobles available, so we move on to the next, and the preference will now be for artisans. There is an artisan here, and the cost can be afforded, so Lawan B will claim the sculptor for 2 fish. And that ends the turn of Lawan B, who also picks up 1 victory point. And I've forgotten to do this, but I will do that now. 1 esteem to Lawan B. At this stage I'm going to explain a little bit about the end game scoring. Reasonable time to do so, I think, to explain the end game scoring for the Lawan. The Lawan end game scoring is based on the victory points that have been claimed on the esteem track, and also by the islanders that they recruit during the game. for every set of islanders that the Lawan recruits, they will gather bonus points. Just need to find the rules manual here. So the in-game scoring, any 2 cards of the same type will earn 1 esteem, 3 cards of the same type will earn 2 esteem, 4 of the same type earn 3, and 5 or more of the same type earn 5 esteem. So basically there's set collection involved in terms of additional victory points. And the tribute cards that any Lawan claims will also be added onto their endgame score, and any elder cards with endgame goals that have been achieved will also be added onto the Lawan's final score. I'm going to go along here now and grab, I'm not sure which spot I'm going to grab, let me have a look here. I'll probably grab this spot here for a sculptor and grab this for myself. Not a sculptor, sorry, an excavator for 2 fish. And I'm going to grab this here for another 2 fish. And that is the end of the shore. We will now come to the village and flip Lawan B's token, and Lawan B will claim the top spot here, or the spot with the highest power, and also claim the spirit totem of Manuk. The village has special rules. Lawan will never task their islanders. Instead of tasking for every task where they would perform a task, instead that Lawan will claim 1 esteem. So for this spot here, Lawan B will claim 3 esteem, which moves the Lawan up to 4 on the victory point track here. I'm unsure about whether that 1 fish that I claim can it be used in this round. I'm going to see. I'm going to play it as if I can, because I believe I can take these options in any order. So I'll take the fish first, and then I'll be able to perform both of my task both of my my islanders. Grab 2 clay for the potter and claim 1 more clay for the excavator. We'll now move on to the Sacred Lake, where Lawan A has overbid but claims 1 victory point, and also now claims this spot here. The Sacred Lake indicates on this part of the card here, indicates that if a Lawan places 2 explorers into the Sacred Lake, then they will claim the emissary token on this particular card. There's another card over here, for example, where this plot card would gain an additional where that Lawan would gain an additional esteem for any offering that was made, but it's this card that's in place. So the Sacred Lake, the emissary token goes to Lawan A. Offerings now can be made of up to 2, but the Lawan here is unable to make any offerings with the current resources. There's also a elder card ability as option on this placement spot, which means that this Lawan will draw an outer card which will remain face down for the remainder of the game, and this will be scored at the end of the game along with any other scoring. It's now on to me, and I've got an option here of reclaiming the emissary token because of its importance, and I have clarified with the game designers that it is possible with the solo mode for the emissary token to pass through various numbers of hands during one round, which is different to the multiplayer game. My decision here is going to ultimately be whether I claim an elder card or whether I claim the emissary token. I think at this stage the emissary, oh actually can I make a, no I cannot make an offering. Because I am short of fish to make an offering, and I'm 1 ebony short, and also the side of the altar for this game requires 2 palm and 2 clay. These altars are double-sided, and had it been this side of the altar that was in play, then I would have been able to make an offering, but it isn't, so I will lock that back down. I think I'm going to go and grab the emissary token because of its importance in breaking ties, and being able to act first is a real advantage in this game, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right, we are now moving to dusk where we reset the board, so I'm going to grab all of these tokens back over here for Lawan B. Put these down for myself. Grab these over here and do some refreshing. Oops. Shuffle that back in there. So at dusk we are going to replenish the forest. Forgot to put a new card out here. We're going to grab all of our tokens back, flip them back and then put them back into these bags and shuffle them up again. Flip these tokens back into here, shuffle. Going to grab all of the Lawan cards here. Give that a shuffle. And ready up all of our cards and start the new day. 2 new decree tokens, Sacred Lake and the shore for 2 fish. Looking for a game plan. It's going to be one that involves fish, so I'll make a middling bid in the forest and draw a card. Lawan A at the shore, Lawan B at the Sacred Lake. May make a play for some more fish here, but a bit risky if a second explorer is placed by Lawan A, so I might hold off on that for the moment, and let's just place that here because I think I'm going to want to have an action there and see what happens. Lawan A to the shore, and there we have it. It's going to be a bit harder to grab those extra 2 fish from that decree token, and Lawan B places into the forest. Now looking around the board, a little bit unsure what I'm going to do here. probably not winning this, but I will pop something in there for an action, and Lawan A would place a third on the shore but doesn't do so. In a way, lucky for me. And there will be Lawan B in the forest. And my last bid will be at this sacred lake. Lawan A draws into the forest and Lawan B draws into the village. It's noon, we'll go fishing. 1 fish for Lawan B, just lucky for me really, because there isn't going to be a lot of recruiting happening, although Lawan B is not recruiting this round anyway. 3 fish for Lawan A, and 5 for myself. Flip over at the forest, and it's Lawan A, and I'm last. Not a great result. 2 and a palm. That was not a good result. 1 ebony for Lawan B, and I can claim a palm, which I will do, or a clay. I'll claim the palm. These cards are discarded, and I forgot that the Gunung Spirit will go to Lawan A. No surprises here. It will be 2 fish and the Spirit Totem of Banyu to Lawan A. In total to 10 fish there. Claiming top spot. And we will draw a plot card for each of the Lawan players. I just realized that I made an error in the first round. So in the first round, by virtue of having 2 explorers in the shore, Lawan B had an ability or an extra bonus of paying 1 less fish for each islander recruited, and 2 were recruited, so there would be a discount of 2 fish in that first round. Similarly for Lawan B, this round Lawan B has 2 islanders placed on the shore, 2 explorers placed on the shore, so any islanders recruited this round will be at a discount of 1 fish each, and there will be some islanders recruited because there are 10 fish here and up to 2 can be recruited. So looking at our card here, the plot card, the preference will be to gatherers followed by priests. So looking at the table here, we do indeed have a gatherer, and so the gatherer will be recruited at a cost of 1 fish because of the discount of 1. If there were 2 or more gatherers available, then it would be the gatherer with the lowest cost. Looks like the second village fisher has been drawn and will also be recruited by Lawan A, and that is also at a discount of 1 fish, which brings it down to only 1 fish as a cost. And that will be the end of this round for Lawan A. Not sure about my options here, but I might go and grab this card as long as I can pay for it, which I can, but I'm going to need to hope for a fish here because otherwise I'm not going to be able to task this priest. But let's grab that for the cost of 3 fish. But I'm going to need 1 more if I'm heading to the Banu altar here, which really means that I'm not going to be spending any more on fish here, so doesn't matter what else is on the shore, I'm not going to be able to recruit anything else. Let's go ahead to the village, and obviously I've not won that, and this top spot will be claimed by Lawan B, and that's another 3 victory points to red, and then I'll claim this spot here, which does give me one fish, which I'm going to need when I hopefully make a tribute to the altar of Banu up here. And I'm able to task up to 2 villages, and I'd like to task this priest, and for my second I may as well claim 1 more additional claim. We're going to move on to the next region here, and we will now work out who is triumphant in this region, and luckily it is me. I'm going to claim a elder card, which for now I'll just place here and here. Let's flip those over and have a look. Not a fan of either of these really. It's very hard to claim 2 spirit totems at the end game, and leftover ebony, it's not something I tend to have left over at the end of the game. Let's just grab this better option of the 2. Going to then claim, I'm not at risk of losing the emissary token because the Lawan B will claim the highest, the slot with the highest power, which will be this second slot really, because I'm going to, so therefore I don't need to claim the emissary spot. I will claim this here and be able to draw another 2 elder cards and hope for something a little bit more inspiring this time, but it's leftover resources. I'll grab this one here because I have a bit of a clay engine building up, and return this to the bottom of the deck. I can make up to 2 offerings, but I'm only really going to be able to make the first, which is 2 clay, 1 ebony and 3 fish, which is why that fish was crucial before. I've got 3, but I get 1 back. In fact, I get 2 back because the priest returns 2 fish for me, which is great. Grab one of these cards for my tribute, and we'll take a peek for it at 4. Not bad, but could have been higher. I can't make a second offering, so shame. I could have made that second one had I had 1 more palm, but obviously I don't have it. Now moves on to Lawan B, who is able to make an offering to Banu, so it does so, and I forgot that Lawan A holds the totem spirit for Banu, so we'll move forward 1 for my tribute and 1 more for the tribute made by Lawan B. So returning these resources here and 3 fish. And right now I think that Lawan B is doing pretty well, particularly with all these tasks that have been done in the village that have earned esteem. We'll pop these back into the bags and we will reset for day 3. So while I'm picking up all of these pieces, I haven't played with a lot of solo AI in games, but I have to say that this is running relatively smoothly. Not a lot of upkeep and maintenance as far as I'm concerned. Pretty easy to run the Lawan deck, which is a positive thing. Obviously the cards and the plots can be manipulated to a degree, sort of understanding the limitations of the Lawan and being able to plan around it, because the AI is not overly smart. But it's not a criticism. It's just one of those things. It's never going to feel completely like a human player, and predominantly it's going to be just making blocks for and getting in the way and making it difficult to play normally, and I guess being able to work around it and exploit the AI cards and limitations is part of managing that AI and the challenge. I just forgot and was reminded as I placed this decree out that I forgot to claim 1 victory point for being triumphant at the Sacred Lake, so I'll grab that now. We'll refresh the forest now. And the forest is a little bit enticing now with some good resources and a bonus victory point up for grabs, so take a bit of a gamble here or a punt, and I'll put a 5 up there and see what happens. Not great, with Lawan A making a first bid in the forest and the shore here. I'll place in the village and see what happens. Second into the forest and 1 into the village. Do I make a play at the forest? If I do, what will it be at the expense of? Maybe I don't need to recruit anyone at this round, so I might go with that. Might need to overbid in the forest to try and claim that, knowing that Lawan A, i.e. white, will never be placing a 3rd, so it's just a case of whether it's enough, and I don't know that 6 would have been enough. Lawan A now goes to the shore, Lawan B goes to the Sacred Lake, and my final bid maybe I don't need fish this round. I'll make an overbid. I'll make a high bid at the Sacred Lake in the hope of trying to claim 2 victory points, and the remaining 2 go to the village and 1 to the forest. Okay, we'll go fishing at noon. 1 fish for Lawan B, 4 fish. Goes to 12. 1 fish remains for me, and we will come up to the forest. Phew! So 1 victory point, but more importantly, claiming of the spot here to grab an ebony, a palm, and a leaf, and a clay. And also the totem for Gunung. Lawan A claims an ebony, and Lawan B, with a bit of 5, claims either a palm or clay. It's my choice, and I may give it some. I'll give it palm. Let's go from there over to here, and it's going to be I just realized that I'll need to go back to the forest. Lawan A placed 2 explorers into the forest, and if we look at the plot card for Lawan A, that means that a bonus clay and a bonus palm for Lawan A for having 2 explorers in the forest. And we now move on here. Lawan B's plot card prefers nobles in the first instance, and then artisans. So are there any nobles here? There is a noble village chief and a shore chief. Both have a cost of 4. It's my choice, doesn't really matter, and we'll take 4 fish. Actually, oops, I'll put that back, haven't seen it, but I forgot that there is no fish available here. So what will happen is that the cycle action will be used first, but then nothing will come out that is at a cost of 1 fish, because every islander has a minimum cost of 2 fish, I believe, and so that will be the end of that turn. The next space is there, and Lawan A's preference is for gatherers and then nobles. There are no gatherers. No gatherers here, and there is no cycle action on this spot. So then the Lawan will move on to the second preference, which is nobles. There are nobles here. There's a noble 3 and 3. You can have this one. So that's 3 fish from 12 down to 9. And we now go back and hunt again for gatherers in the first instance. And the new card is not a gatherer, so the preference is going to be back again to nobles, and we have a 2 at a cost of 3. So the cost is going to be 3 regardless, and I need to make a choice. And what do I have? Forgot to upright those cards again. I might look to try and keep this card for myself and possibly claim it in a future round. So let's pop this down here and give this to Lawan A. That's the end of that round. The Banyu Spirit totem goes to Lawan B, and we're off to the village where I've been outbid. It will be, this is not going to be ideal for me. 3 and okay, there. So 3 points for white Lawan A. There will be 2 points for Lawan B. and a fish. And I now have an option of 2 actions or 1 action and a fish. My intentions are to make 2 offerings, if I have calculated this correctly. Probably would like to task. I'll task 2. I'll grab 1 more clay and I will activate the priest to give me 2 fish when I hopefully make an offering to Buru. Triumphant in this region was Lawan A and claims that spirit totem. Alright. Good to have Gunung, given that I'm going to be making 1 offering here. So, did I play this correctly and do I claim 2 victory points? I do. Very, very lucky to have the emissary token and therefore be ahead in this. So I will grab 2 victory points because the tiebreaker in this game is always broken by who is holding the emissary token, first player token, and then clockwise around the table from there. I'd like to make 2 offerings, so I'm going to take this space here and I'm going to make my 2 offerings. So firstly to Buru and grab 1 of these and take down the cost of 3 fish, but due to my priest in play I'm going to claim 2 fish back. And then secondly I'm going to make a tribute to Gunung, paying these resources here, and that is going to be 1 point additional to me for holding Gunung, and it will be 1 point to Lawan B in red for holding Buru, and that is the end of that. But I will also get to draw some more end game goal cards from the outer deck. Not really matching my strategy this time. I'm not hiring a lot, but I guess I could claim this card here because I'm only 1 short of meeting the conditions for 1 victory point there. Okay, Lawan B moves on here and claims this spot here and can make up to 2 offerings. So unfortunately has no resources, but so while there is a bit of a lead here and 1 tribute card here, hopefully that means I can still catch up to Lawan B in red if I'm not already ahead. We'll reset for the next round, put these back in, and there are 2 more rounds in the game to play. Just make sure these tokens are flipped before you put them into the bags if you want to shuffle them that way, and then they will come out face down. Reset these decks, grab the decrees for the village and Buru. That would have been good last round. Return the Lawan cards. Give that a shuffle. Okay, and have a think. I'm back down to no resources, so placing a modest bid in the forest is probably a good idea. We'll go with that and maybe fish for 5. Lawan A is going to the Sacred Lake, and with a lot of resources there that may generate quite a few points. Oops, that was a mistake. I will redraw that. Push the wrong button, sorry. Accidentally flipped that one, so give that a reshuffle and we'll go from there. Another brick may be useful here along with the tasks, and also trying to deny some of these high spots to the Lawan village and Sacred Lake. Just pop this here for an action. A goes to the shore. And B goes to the village. And I'll just pop this in here for an action. Sacred Lake, not winning that one. And the forest. One competitor in the forest. Okay. Let's go fishing. 5. And 1. I win this. Second will be a choice. I choose to give it 2 palm for fewer options. For me though, I still don't know what I want. And I think I'm going to have to grab the ebony, because I have some gatherers and artisans that can grab me some clay later on in the game. Okay, I claim or retain Guno, which is useful. Okay, plot card here. And another plot card here. So the preference here is for priests, then nobles. No priests. Because there are no priests, the cycle option will be used first. And there's a priest. So priest will come down here at a cost of 3 fish. And second option is not there. So no nobles, and the next option will be a gatherer. Gatherer is available here for 2 and 1 for 3, and so the cheaper of the two is 2, and that's not so good for me, because the collection of 3 gatherers will give the Lawan A some bonus extra points at the end of the game. Looking at the in-game scoring again, 3 cards of the same type will give it a bonus 2 esteem, so that has moved it up from 1 to 2 esteem at the end game. Now moving on to Lawan B, and Lawan B's plot card has a preference for artisans and then priests. There's an artisan here. Cost is 2 fish. And there's no other artisan, and there is no cycle spot on here, so it will be a priest after that. No priest, followed by a noble, and there is a noble here. And the noble is at a cost of 3 fish. So 1, 2, 3. Just remembered I forgot to catch my fish, so I've got 7 here to use. I can only buy 1. I can only recruit 1 though. Useful to get an ebony. So this for 1 victory point, and the ability to freely task my priest over here is also very enticing. Unfortunately, I can only do 1 thing this round, and it looks like I might grab this here for 4 points. For 4 fish. With the intention of, or do I? Maybe I don't. Change of plan. I'll grab this instead. Returning 1 fish with a secondary plan instead. More on that later. And forgot that Banu should come over here now, as Lawan A was triumphant in on the shore. Flipping these over now, unfortunately I was overbid by Lawan A, who claims 3 points and a bonus clay. That's not great. 1, 2, 3. It will also be 2 more for red and a fish. And I guess I'm claiming this spot here to task the Mystic Noble, which gives me 1 victory point, and also allows me to task the Mystic, the Ascetic Priest for free, and my second task will be the Excavator to give me a bonus clay, with the intention to visit the spirit, the altar of Banu, to claim some additional points, rewards, as well as 2 fish here actually. So I need 3 fish, which is great, exactly what I needed. Right, moving on here, I'm not going to be triumphant in this region, so it will be Lawan A that claims another victory point for being triumphant in this region and claiming this spot here. 1 elder card is drawn and placed aside. Up to 2 offerings can be made in this space here, and 2 offerings will be made because there is an abundance of resources here. Looking at the plot card, the preference here is going to be to make an offering to Gunung if possible, and I'm okay with that given that I'm carrying Gunung at the moment, and it is possible. So 2 palm are returned and 2 clay are returned in order to claim one of these cards and for 1 victory point to go to me. So this card is also set aside, and the second offering cannot be made to Gunung, so it will be to Manuk if possible, and there are 2 ebony here, so it will be to Manuk, and this card is placed here, and Manuk is held by Lawan A for a bonus victory point. And that will be the end of those actions there. Lawan B will claim this spot here and cannot make any offerings. One thing I forgot as well is that there are 2 explorers for Lawan A, and looking here it means that the emissary token is passed over, which probably changes what I do. So rather than go for a elder card, I will claim the emissary token back and make up to 1 offering, and my offering is going to be to this to the altar of Banyu, 2 clay, 1 ebony, 3 fish, 2, 3 for one of these cards. 6 points, that's better. And I will, as a bonus by this decree, claim 1 fish back, as well as 2 fish from my priest. And Banyu spirit totem is held by Lawan A, so the Lawans now will be tied at the top of the track there. I forgot to put these into the discard earlier, and I believe that that is now the end of the round, and we're on to the final day. The all-important final day has arrived. Going to reset now. Current position, I'm only a few points behind, and I'm holding several tribute cards versus 2 and 3, so I think I'm sitting comfortably at the moment. As I said, being able to manipulate the intentions of the AI are quite useful. And I know that the Banyu tributes have higher point values than Gunung, so I'm pretty happy about the fact that I've been able to make a lot of offerings to this and maximize the use of these cards that I have in this round. Alright. On to the last round, and it's a question of how, if at all, I can make one final offering. At this stage I don't believe I need to recruit any islanders, although yeah, no, I already have 4. I'd need to get to 6 islanders in order to fulfill the next level of that elder card. Don't believe it's worth it. So at this stage I'm playing a 5 in the forest to try and claim some resources to try to make an offering. Nice to make an offering to Manuk while the decree is in play, but to Ebony to claim 1 fish back when fish are not important to me at the end of the game. Less important, I think, than coming up here to Banyu. So I'm going to need to try and get an Ebony and then try and generate some clay. So therefore, if that is the plan, I'm going to need at least 3 fish. I do have 3 fish at least here now, thanks to my fish engine. And we'll go from there. Shuffle the cards. And we're going to the forest. And then we're going to the village. Next bid. Don't believe I'm going to be able to make 2 offerings at the Sacred Lake. The 1 victory point could be worth chasing, but actually I'm going to want to try and claim Banyu somehow. So maybe I'll hold my 4 in reserve there, try and make a bid on here and at least claim 1 extra victory point there. So why don't we place that there and see what happens. Some competition at the shore here, and 1 at the village here. I am going to need, I believe I'm going to need at least 1 action here. I'm going to need at least 1 action down here to claim this, so let's just claim a spot and see what else happens in the bidding. Sacred Lake and the shore. So I'm still in with a chance to win at the shore, so I will claim that there, put that there and see what happens. Unfortunately, Lawan A goes to the village, but Lawan B goes to the shore. So I'm probably likely to be outbid here and unable to claim Banyu. But the good news is that I am the first player, and I will be triumphant at the forest, because even if this is a 5, I will win that tiebreak. So we'll go fishing for the last time. 5 here, 7, 2 for me here. Not sure why I put a 1 there, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And 3 fish, 6. Flip this, and indeed I have been triumphant here and keep the Gunung spirit, which is positive. Claim these resources here, which will give me some options. Also claim a bonus palm, may come in handy. Lawan A, 1 palm, 1 clay, 2 palm, and we move on to the shore, where I'm sure to be outbid. Lawan B gets a discount of 1 on anything purchased here, and and also claims Banyu as well, where I will be making an offering. So we're looking for gatherers in the first instance, and there are some gatherers here. The cheapest gatherer here is this gatherer for 3 points. For 3 fish, with a discount of 1 for 2. And there is no other gatherer here. Yes, there is another gatherer. So the second gatherer is claimed at a cost of 3 fish. And along the lines of what I was discussing before, this hire could effectively mean, it's not going to matter in this round, but it could effectively stall an AI's ability to offer and make an offering or tribute at the Banyu outer subsequent round. So it could hinder itself by making this recruitment, but it's all part of the game and manipulating the AI in a way. There's no further actions required. I don't believe that the cycle takes place where the AI has been able to purchase, the Lawan has been able to recruit those 2 islanders, so that is the end of that turn. It's me now, and I'm not sure what I was doing. That's right, I was bidding here in order to try to claim Banyu. That didn't happen. Is there anything here that can help? I can... I could recruit this here for 2. Need to be careful because I need to keep at least 3 fish. Yeah, going for this goal here is not going to work because I'm going to need at least 3 fish. No, not happening. I thought if I could hire 2 islanders at a cost of 2 that might work, but I am 1 resource short of being able to do that because I must have 3 fish in order to go to the Banyu outer. Don't believe there's any other way around this. Hiring 1 more is not going to help me because it doesn't get me from to the next level. And my only way to generate additional fish is to use a clay, which I'm not of a mind to do. Although that can generate me fish. Actually, that could be a very elaborate play. Might do that there. Purchase for 2 after claiming this spot here. With no ability to cycle. I go down to 4 fish and I need a card. That is 2. Oh, and look at that, it is 2. So I'll grab this for another 2. And I'm going to need to generate fish, or to trade for fish, which I'll be able to do. So that was a lucky turn of events there. Lawan A now is looking to recruit a gatherer in the first instance. There are no gatherers, but there is a cycle option, so the cycle option is used in order to try and find a gatherer, and there is one, and there are 2, and they are both 2 fish, doesn't matter. Pop this down here. Not so good for me that there's a 4th gatherer there. That's okay. 2 fish here, and that is the end of that. Just double checking that Banyu has gone to red, which it has, and we will move on to the next region where there will be another claimed spirit totem, Manuk. And Lawan A right now is doing reasonably well with another 3 points. Two points and a fish for Lawan B. Lawan A. 2 points and a fish. And do I need fish or do I need people to task? I thought I had this worked out, but I'm not so sure now. Especially with these actions here. Are 2 actions enough? 1 fish, 1 clay, and I'm going to have to do this here to return 1 palm and get 2 fish, which is now just enough to make 1 single offering, but I'm unable to task any of these here. And that is the end. We now move into the Sacred Lake, and I have been triumphant here, and I'll be able to draw more Elder cards after, and I can take 2 offerings. After 2 offerings. I'm only going to be able to make 1. In-game fish or Minook. Both are worthless to me. Both are worthless. We'll put this down here anyway. And we'll make my single offering Is it a good one? It's an average one. Banyu +1 on the esteem track for holding the spirit totem, and I forgot to take my 3 fish off as well. Down to 1 fish, although leftover resources at the end of the game do not have any particular value because all ties are broken by the first player token. Finally, 2 offerings to be made here, or up to 2. Banyu is the preferred altar or spirit, but cannot be fulfilled. Next is Guno, which is good for me as I carry that spirit totem, and it looks like that it will be the only offering that is able to be made. We'll take that offering, put that here. I go on +1 on the victory point track here for holding the Gunan spirit, and that is the end of the game. It is now onto our final scoring, and let's start with the final scoring for Lawan A. So the final scoring is the final position on the esteem track plus tribute cards that have been collected. So that is 5 plus 3 plus 4 is 12. So that's 12. We'll do that all at once. Flip this. Did not have the totem for Gunung, and were there hires of priests? There were 2 recruited, so that is 1 point there. So that's 13. 13 plus 14 is 27. And then sets. So 2 cards of the same type is 1 esteem. 1 is 0, 1 is 0. So that's 1 esteem from here, and 4 cards is 3 esteem. So 3 plus 1, 4 more. 31. Not sure if I can catch that. Lawan B. 4 points here. 20. There are 2 of this type and 2 of this type and 2. So 2 of each scores 1 each. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No elder cards. And that is the end of the game for Lawan B. Didn't do as well as I had thought. I overtaken by Lawan A, and I believe it may be difficult to catch up to Lawan B, but let's get this a go. This elder card is not worth anything for me. I also did not fulfill that. I did fulfill this with 6 islanders recruited. That's 2 victory points. I'm going to need quite a few high cards here, or else this is not going to be happening. 15, 18, 22. 22 plus 10 is 32. A very, very close game, as you can see. A victory by 1 point, although had I landed on 31, that would have also been a victory to me by virtue of holding the emissary token at the end of the game, which underlines again how important that token is. So that was the solo playthrough of Buru. I hope it was useful to you, and I invite you to check the game out on Tabletop Simulator and have a look for it on Kickstarter. Thank you, and again I hope that it was useful to you in some way. Good night.